Thank you all so much for coming. My mom thought there'd be 11 in the room, and I think you all doubled that. So I'm really excited that there is such a nice turnout. This session is comparing affiliate networks, tips and tricks. If it's not where you meant to be, please leave when I'm not looking so that I don't cry or feel bad about it. So I'll turn for just a minute. All right, you're stuck. So who am I, and how do I know all of this stuff? My name is Tricia Meyer, and I'm actually an attorney turned affiliate marketer. I went to law school, I graduated, I took the bar exam, I passed. I worked for Lexus for a long time, and I decided that I really didn't like lawyers. So it wasn't really the best career to be in when you don't like lawyers. So I stumbled upon affiliate marketing. And I started with my first content site, Helping Moms Connect, and that's the site that I'm still most well known for. And then my coupon and cashback site, Sunshine Rewards. And through my work at Sunshine Rewards, I've had to kind of become a jack of all trades of everything. When you have a coupon, a cashback site, anything like that, you have to really learn how to use the networks. Everything that you can possibly use in a network, you have to use when you have a site like mine. So that's kind of where I've learned everything that I've learned about affiliate marketing is through my cashback site. I've started speaking over the last few years about affiliate marketing quite a bit, and I write for my own blog about affiliate marketing topics and then on other affiliate marketing news sites as well. And I've been doing some podcasting and then also started a consulting business. So I've been taking a lot of information that I've been getting, what I learned from myself, what I learned in talking to other people, and put it together in this presentation for you. There's my contact information up there if you want to get a hold of me, at Sunshine Tricia on Twitter, and also my email address and my main blog that has all of my further contact information. So I'm graphically challenged. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't do graphics at all. I do content, I do things with the networks, I do coupons, I do all of those other things. I don't do graphics. And just to demonstrate that to you, I put together my own beautiful graphic. So this is as good as graphics get for me, and you'll pretty much notice that throughout the presentation. That's kind of a recurring theme. That's me on the right, Tricia. You know that because I tell you that down there. And that's other person. That's any other person that I'm talking to. I mentioned that I do consulting, that I speak in different places and I write, and one of the first questions that people always ask me is, which is the best affiliate network? That seems to be one of the questions that I most often get. And I think when people ask me that question, they want either a 2 or 3 word answer or a 2 or 3 minute answer. But I can't give them that. What I would really have to give them is a 45-minute, a 50, a 60-minute answer. And thankfully, Affiliate Summit has given me that amount of time to answer that question today. I live in Indiana, and we went to the state fair last week. It just began in our state. And if any of you ever go to the state fair, Indiana or otherwise, you know that that is what we call the prize pig. The prize pig, that's the big deal. That's the big kahuna. That's what everybody wants to have, is the prize pig. It's the best of the best. It's the one that everybody aspires to be. So I was inspired when I saw the pig barn the other day to take that picture, because people want to know, what's the prize pig of the affiliate networks? I don't think they would want to be referred to as that, but I'm guessing most of them probably aren't in the room anyway. Fingers crossed. So let me just tell you up front what this presentation is going to be. That's my graphic check mark there for you. That means yes, X's mean no, so you'll be able to keep track through the presentation. This presentation is going to be, it's going to be my opinions based on what I've done with the networks, the amount of time that I've spent working with the networks. You're going to get a lot of opinions on my experience with mainly these networks: Commission Junction, or CJ, Google Affiliate Network, or GAN, ShareSale, which sometimes I'll abbreviate as SAS, and LinkShare, the LS. I will not be talking about CPA networks, so this is mainly going to be those 4 networks. I'll also throw in a few bonus opinions about AvantLink, Impact Radius, Affiliate Window, Pepper Jam, some of the other networks that I work with just a little bit. But really, those are the main networks that I'm going to focus on throughout the presentation. Not because I like them a whole lot more, but those are just the ones that most people tend to work with the most. So I kind of went with where the most action seems to be in affiliate marketing. It's also going to be a factual comparison. So I am going to go through and try and pull out some relevant data from the different networks for you so that you can actually hear more than just my opinions. If you don't think my opinions count for much, then I've got some factual comparisons for you as well, just about some of the different technologies, some of the features that each of the network has and that are useful to the majority of affiliates. Everyone's looking for something different, but I'm going to focus mainly on what's important to the majority of affiliates. And I'm also going to try to give you some insight for both merchants and affiliates. So the session is geared toward basically everyone. It's going to be insight if you're an affiliate, what you should be looking for in the different networks, and what you should be using if you're not. If you are a merchant, an affiliate manager, an OPM that's in the room, hopefully you will have a little bit better idea when you leave here if the network that you're currently working with, if only one, is giving affiliates everything that they need. And also, if any networks happen to be in here listening or sent any spies, maybe you'll hear a little bit about what we like and what we don't like and what other networks are doing better. And in the end, it's basically going to be a guide for you. It's going to be a guide for all of you to decide which networks you want to work with and how you should be working with them. What this presentation will not be. It's not going to be my chance to stand up here and trash all of the networks. It's not going to be me up here just telling all kinds of war stories about bad things that have happened and everything that I've heard bad about all of the networks. I'm not here to try to just complain about networks. I don't want to embarrass any of the networks or any of the people that work for any of the networks. And it's also not a witch hunt. I'm not here to out any one particular network for anything. I'm not against any of the networks. I like working with all the networks. I hope all the networks know that I like working with them, and I hope at the end of this presentation they'll all still want to work with me. If I get kicked out of any of them, though, because of this presentation, you will all be the first people to hear about it. It is also not going to be all-encompassing. There is just so much. I mean, every network is doing something different all the time, and they're changing all the time. So, you know, the Commission Junction, they're going to have their CJU soon. That's when they tend to roll out a lot of new things. So what I tell you today may not be good in September. Google just announced a lot of new things at their summit back in July. Unfortunately, they have some really great stuff that I would have liked to talk about today, but I emailed them and asked them if I could include it in the presentation, and they didn't respond. So I'm not including those things in the presentation, but they have some really cool stuff that's coming out that you'll want to pay attention to. And lastly, I'm not going to be pinning a ribbon on that price pig. I'm not going to be telling you that there is one network in particular that everybody should be working with. So we like to think these days in terms of this, very summarized, what am I supposed to get out of it? You're writing a blog post, what's the one thing that you want people to take away from that blog post? You're doing a podcast, what's the one thing you want people to take away? We always think in terms of that, short tweet of information. And so I was trying to think as I put together the presentation, if I were going to tweet out exactly what I wanted people to get out of this today, this is what it would be. Each affiliate network has pros and cons. The best network is the one that fits your site's needs and objectives. And that is, as a merchant, that is as an affiliate, either one. If you are an affiliate, it's the network that has the most tools for you, that has the merchants for you, all the different things we're going to go through. If you are a merchant, you need to think about which network is the one that best satisfies your affiliate's needs in addition to your own needs. And in order to get to the bottom of this, what we're going to have to do is go through and compare and contrast all of the different affiliate networks and different things about each network. So that's going to be the basis of the presentation. So there's my agenda. I don't feel the need to read it to you, but if you need some kind of way to know how close we're getting to the end or to snack time or whatever, you can at least see up there where we're headed. Going through some basic ethical issues first, because I think that's one of the most important things, and then the other things that will be comparing and contrasting, and then at the end, my gold stars. So ethical issues. How many of you in the room have ethical issues with one network or another, that you would or you would not work with any particular network based on ethical issues? Oh, you are an open-minded bunch, with the exception of the press row there. The ethical issues are a huge balance, and it's going to come down to where you come on these ethical issues, how the balance weighs out. If after looking at the different ethical issues that we talk about, if there are specific networks that you just cannot work with, then there's no reason to consider any of the other, the reporting, the payments, the pulling creatives, any of those kinds of things. If you're on the fence about it, if there are some ethical issues and you don't love them, but you're willing to work with it, then we'll start looking at all the other things in the presentation. So it could very well be, depending on your site, that these ethical issues, the scale tips so far one way that you can't even consider all of the other comparisons we're going to make. But hopefully everyone is at least in the middle and can say at this point we're kind of balanced. We'll look at the ethical issues and then we'll decide how heavily those weigh for us. So Toolbars and cookie stuffing is one of the things that we see the most, on the Best Web Forum, in revenues articles, things like that, all of the different places that we learn about affiliate marketing. Toolbars, the way as I'm talking about them right now, are not just toolbars that pop up as reminders. These are toolbars that we know overwrite cookies. These are either toolbars that are overwriting cookies. These are different programs that overwrite cookies. It may even be websites that just say, click here to get the coupon code. For you, those might be ethical issues that you don't want, those lines you don't want to cross. And not only do you not do those on your site, but you don't respect a network that allows those types of sites in there, or you don't respect a network that promotes those type of sites. So when we're talking about these toolbars and cookie stuffing issue, do the networks take a stance on them? And not only do they take a stance, do they enforce that stance? For public opinion reasons, most of the networks will say, we don't allow cookie stuffing, we don't allow cookie overwriting. But I don't think most of them enforce it, quite honestly. Share a sale, in my opinion, is the one that enforces it the most. I think sometimes things do slip through, but the other networks, I don't think that they necessarily enforce that. And I can back that up with my data, because as a reward site owner, I can see when someone clicks on one of my links, I can see when they make a purchase, and I can see that I don't get credit for that purchase. I go to the merchant and they say, no, this person, the credit belonged to this other affiliate. And my member swears up and down, I didn't click on any other links. I didn't go look for coupons. I didn't go to Google. And I can track it back and say, well, do you happen to have this toolbar installed or that toolbar? And they'll say, oh, well, I do, but I didn't know that that made a difference. And it turns out that other affiliate is getting those commissions, and my member doesn't even realize that somebody else is getting commissions for all these things. So I've been able to see it in my own data, and it doesn't really happen with Share a Sale. Rakuten is the owner of Linkshare, and it's come out recently that the One Cause or Free Cause toolbar is one of the biggest cookie overwriters. And if they own Linkshare and they own a toolbar that's overwriting cookies, it does make you wonder to what extent they're willing to enforce their own policies when it means that they're making them money. I'm not saying that it's only about the money for them, but I think it is an ethical issue that we do have to discuss and put out on the table. And if you are extremely, anti-toolbar and anti-cookie overwriting, and you just can't bring yourself to work with a network that would allow that, then you do have to have some pause when you think about working with Linkshare. Also, just the affiliates that a particular network prefers. How do you know which affiliates a network prefers? Well, here are some things to look at. You can look at who they're retweeting. Google retweeted Retail Me Not the other day, and they're known for some kind of shady coupon practices. If Retail Me Not is a site that you would not want to send your own mom or grandmother or sister to for different reasons, then you probably don't want to promote Google, because Google's promoting Retail Me Not. You can also look at who's on their advisory boards. Sometimes they'll publicly say who's on their advisory boards. You can look at who they're giving their awards to. Most of the networks do some kind of awards. Look at the affiliates that they're choosing to give their awards to. And their promotional videos. A lot of them do different types of promotional videos where they will feature affiliates in them. Look at the affiliates that they're featuring in all these different places. If these are affiliates that you would personally align yourself or your business with, then there's no shady ethical ground there. If these are all affiliates that you would not want to align yourself with, you wouldn't want your family members to download those toolbars or whatever, then those are not networks that you probably want to work with. Google. Google relies on AdSense for you to get paid, and for a lot of affiliates, this is a huge ethical issue because of the way that Google AdSense and the Google Affiliate Network are tied together. If for some reason you lose your Google AdSense account, you will immediately have your Google Affiliate Network account closed as well. You cannot really appeal having your AdSense account closed. So if you do something that might be just a little on the line, or you don't even realize you made a mistake, you probably will not get your AdSense account back. And if you don't get your AdSense account back, you don't get your Google Affiliate Network account back. So you may not care. You're not making a lot of money through AdSense anyway, so you don't care if you lose your AdSense account. But what happens if something causes you to lose that AdSense account and you then lose your Google Affiliate Network account as well? And this is something that we're seeing more and more. If you Google anything about it, if you search anything about losing your AdSense account, losing your Google Affiliate Network access, you will see a lot of very prominent bloggers talking about this happening to them in the last year or two. The Safari tracking issue is, last I heard, there is still no end date for when that is going to be fixed. For those of you who don't know, Google has had some problems with the FTC and privacy and the Safari browser. And so as of February, they do not have the ability to track commissions through Safari browsers anymore. We didn't know this for months. We didn't know until they came to us and said, oh, by the way, this isn't tracking, but we're going to give you a make good, credit in your accounts anyway. Do you trust that the make good is accurate? I looked at my numbers. I know how much traffic I'm sending. I know what my clicks are. I know what percentage of those, according to my Google Analytics, what percentage of those are Safari. And my numbers didn't even close to match up what they gave me in the make good. Another issue for me, having a reward site, anybody that has members that they're paying back, if my members don't get a commission or don't get their cash back from me or their reward or whatever, then it makes me look bad because it looks like I'm holding out or there's something wrong with my tracking. So unless I explain to my members, okay, if you have a Safari browser and it's a Google merchant, which isn't all my merchants, it's just a few of my merchants, so you can shop at these, but don't shop at these, it's too confusing. So from an ethical standpoint, is it even worth it for me to keep those Google Affiliate Network merchants on my site until they have this Safari tracking issue fixed? That's a difficult decision to make. And lastly, will you get kicked out if you criticize anything? There are networks that if you post something in different forums, if you write about them, there are networks that people say they have been retaliated against. I feel very safe talking about ShareASale because they're open about asking for criticism. At the end of their conferences, they specifically say, tell us everything that you don't like. They ask for that kind of information. I don't feel as confident standing up here talking about Google and link share and commission junction. I'm doing it because I think somebody has to. But I wouldn't be surprised, if I were to all of a sudden, lose my status within one of those networks just for having a session like this, for putting anything on my blog. I wouldn't put it past some of the networks to retaliate if you criticize them. So, that's an issue too, that if there's somebody that you're working with that you feel like you can't openly criticize them, do you want to continue working with them? So that being said, I think that's kind of the heaviest part of the presentation, these ethical issues. If all of those things taken together, you're still willing to take the risk, it's still worth it. And for me it is. I still work with all these networks in spite of all of those things. If you're still willing to work with a network or give them a chance after all of those, let's see what other things we should be taking a look at. Merchants on the network. Which network has the best merchants? Well, that depends which merchant you're looking for. Are you looking specifically for the kind of recognizable household brand names? If you are looking for those recognizable names, you're going to find those on Commission Junction, on Google, on Linkshare, on Pepperjam. Those tend to be the ones that have more of the recognizable household names than others. But that said, a lot of affiliate sites don't rely on recognizable brand names. If you're using product feeds, if you're using specific niche products, if you have either a niche site or you just want to promote only small businesses and not big corporate businesses, if that's what you want, then you might be better off looking at ShareASale, because ShareASale does have a lot more of the small businesses just because the way their system is set up and their pricing scheme, they do have a lot of small businesses. If you have a sports niche, then you might want to look at AvantLink, because they have kind of, as they've come up, that's how they've grown, is they started off primarily with a lot of sports merchants, so they continue to add, although they have other merchants now too, they continue to focus on those sports merchants, and they have the technology that works well with those sports merchants. The Internet Retailer Top 100. Beyond just being brand names, it's not just that you know the brand names. If you want to see where people are actually buying from, it may be that there are brand names like Wayfair that people, most of us have never even heard of, but they do a lot of e-commerce. And if you want to know what those particular brands are, where people are shopping, then look to the Internet Retailer Top 100. And I didn't do a very good comparison, because sometimes you can't even figure out which merchants are on different networks, and sometimes a company will have various different merchants and some of them are on different networks. But I did just list out the top 100 and kind of went through and pulled all of them that I knew which networks they were on. And ShareASale had a few of them. They had a couple big ones like Fanatics and Wayfair. Pepper Jam, surprisingly, has a lot. They have Abercrombie, they have Fanatics, they have Hay Needle, they have Toys R Us, Ethio Schwartz. They have a lot of those big names. But primarily, those internet retailer top 100, you're going to find those on Linkshare, Google, and Commission Junction. And far and away, as I went through the spreadsheet, Commission Junction seemed to have the most of those. So if you're looking just to find, places that are reputable, brands, websites that people trust, probably the ones that are going to get the new Google Trusted Seal or whatever it is that they're doing, you're going to find a lot of those on Commission Junction in particular. So now you've figured out which network you want to work with just based on what type of merchants you're looking for. How easy is it to use the interface? I mean, it's really confusing to me. I've been using these for 8 years, and they all seem to update, and they add new things, and they take things away, and they're very dense. The interfaces, as much as they try to make them easy to use, if you're especially using a lot of different networks, it can get extremely confusing. So just in terms of trying to find the merchants that you want to work with, you may want to search by category because you're a sports site. You just want to go in and say, show me all sports sites or show me all sites that are all baby merchants. You can do that on any of the networks. That's not hard. But if you want to search by keyword, that's a little bit harder. In fact, I would say ShareASale does a great job of allowing you to go in and just search by keyword. If you just know that you want to put up a Halloween site and you just type in Halloween, you'll get anything related to Halloween. Commission Junction does a really good job of that as well. The one that I think is worst at that is Google. And even in their own help, when you go in and ask how to search by keyword, they will recommend that you search for products that you want first. And once you figure out which products you want, then you can figure out which merchants sell them. So I don't think that that's an efficient way to be able to figure out which merchants you want to promote from the get-go. And top merchants, they all kind of have their own internal systems of how they recommend their top merchants to you. So there isn't really a good comparison there. What I have at the bottom, though, are the statistics. I know they're a little bit small to see, but this is actually pulled from ShareASale because I think it's important when you're trying to figure out which merchants you want to promote. There's some data that you just need up front. So what I did was just pulled Totally Costumes, and what I could see just doing a search for Halloween, it brings me Totally Costumes, and this is what you see. And you can see the EPC on there. Of course, we all want to know, what the earnings per click are. And that's on there, and that's on every network. That's standard, and you should be able to see that anywhere. But they continue to give other information beyond that EPC, beyond just the commission rate that's listed, the 60-day cookie that's listed. They also show you the reversal rates, and they're the only network that openly shows those reversal rates. Why are those important? Because they start a conversation. That reversal rate will tell you how many transactions are being reversed because of fraud or cancellations or things like that. I wouldn't use that number and say I absolutely will work with this merchant or I absolutely won't work with that merchant. I had one merchant that had a high reversal rate. They wanted me to join their program. I responded to them and said, yeah, but why is your reversal rate so high? They explained to me exactly what happened, that they'd had a bunch of fraudulent orders. They all came in at the same time. They reversed them all in the same day, so their numbers were skewed for that particular time period. And they said, we promise you, if you wait, the 7 days and the 30 days, you'll see that those numbers go back to where they should be. And it was just as they said. So it started that conversation for me with the merchant to figure out a little bit more about their program based on those reversal rates. And ShareASale is the only one that gives us those rates. Another good reason to have those reversal rates is so that you can see if you have a lot of things that get reversed, is it just you? Is it just a particular product that you're promoting? Maybe it's shoes and they have free returns, so that merchant has a really high reversal rate because they have free returns. Then you have to decide whether you want to continue working with that merchant or not, knowing that a certain percentage are always going to be reversed, across the board, across all affiliates. As far as pulling creatives go, once you've figured out which merchants you want to work with and you're trying to figure out how to actually pull the creatives, pull just the basic creatives, you're pulling regular text links, regular banners, that's pretty standard across all of the different networks. They all do it differently, so you just have to get in there and see how they do it, but I don't think that there's one or another that does that better than others. However, the deep linking is important. How many of you use deep linking anywhere on your sites? Just a few. A lot more of you should be using deep linking. Conversions tend to be higher with deep links because you're sending people to actual products. So when you're promoting products, over just a general site, your conversions tend to be higher. Or if you're sending someone to a specific page within a merchant, instead of just sending them to the overall merchant page, you tend to see higher conversions. But the networks don't always make it easy for you to get those deep links. I think that Share a Sale and Link Share do that best, because you can just go to whatever the page is on the merchant site, whether it's a landing page or a product page. You take that, you put it in, you pull down who the merchant is, you hit a button, and up pops the deep link for you. Commission Junction is like a maze. You have to go in and you find the merchant, and then you click on the merchant, and then you click on text links, and then you see all the text links, and then within those text links you click on them and you click on Get the HTML, and then when you get click Get HTML, it will say whether or not you can create a deep link. So at that point, you've gone through all these steps just to find out you can't even create the deep link. So then you go back and think, well, maybe it's just that text link I can't. So you click another text link, and you go through the same process. And after 3 or 4, you say, just forget it. I'm not even going to create the deep link. There are a few merchants on Commission Junction that when they send out a newsletter, they will explicitly say, this is how you create a deep link just for our products. If you see that in a newsletter, keep that newsletter, because you might not find that information anywhere else. So keep that newsletter, and just remember that that's one of the merchants that's kind of an exception to the deep linking process, because you should be pulling those deep links, and they just don't make it easy enough on Commission Junction to be able to do that. Feeds. I'm not the tech brains behind Sunshine Rewards. I'm not the tech brains behind anything, but I know enough to know how to use them. I know how to compare them, and I know what I hear my tech person complain about with them. So the feeds will not apply to most of you in the room, but it will apply to some of you. And the way that you get these different feeds, you might be getting them as CSV files, they might be pipe delineated, they might be XML. There are all these different ways, that you can get these feeds to come in, and each of the networks does them a little bit differently. Product feeds and coupon feeds, within each network, they tend to do them the same. So within one network, however they do their coupon feed is usually how they do their product feeds as well. So I'm just going to kind of lump them together and talk about both the coupon feeds and the product feeds, although there might be just a little bit of difference between them. To me, one of the most important things when it comes to pulling the feeds are the timing of them, whether you only get the feeds daily or whether you're getting them any time of day. And the reason for that is, as a coupon site, I want to be able to get the most recent coupons. If I can only pull the coupon feed first thing in the morning, any coupons that a merchant adds the rest of that day, I can't pull that feed again until the next morning. So if I get a newsletter saying they added some great coupons, instead of just hitting the feed and being able to pull it, I have to go in and manually enter all those coupons. I say I mean Ashley, because she's the one that does it for me, so I shouldn't be up here taking all the credit for all of the coupons I add, because I don't actually add them. So we'll say Ashley has to go in multiple times a day and pull the coupons and add them. Google does that first thing in the morning. They send you this feed that has your products and has your coupons, and the really bad thing is they send it one time to you. If your server is down, you may not get it, and then you can't get it the rest of the day. Conversely, if you don't update every day and you're on a limited bandwidth, or you're paying for the amount of bandwidth for your site, you may be getting these feeds sent to you every single morning, whether you like it or not, and you're paying for it. So you would have to go in and say, yes, give me the feed today. No, not tomorrow. Yes, no, back and forth. So I don't really like the way that Google does that. In Commission Junction, they just send those feeds first thing in the morning as well, but first thing in the morning is about 10 o'clock. Eastern time, and Ashley and I have already planned out the whole day, entered coupons, picked deals of the day, put together newsletters, all of that by 9 in the morning. So the fact that those feeds come in later isn't incredibly useful to us, but I understand they're not on the same coast as us. Link Share and Share a Sale, they allow you to pull those feeds throughout the day. So if I see that I get a number of great Sellers Wine Club coupons come in via newsletter, I can just hit the feed button and it's going to pull all those coupons in, and I don't have to enter them manually. So I like the way that Share a Sale and Link Share allow you to go in at any time of day and be able to pull those feeds. The naming conventions are the same across all the different networks. There are ways to pull and sort the merchants based on the merchant ID, except Commission Junction. And for some reason, Commission Junction names their feeds based on the name of the merchant, and it might not even be the same thing that you call the merchant, because it's one merchant with 4 different stores below it, and they don't associate the merchant ID. So for some reason, you have to go in and associate in your system, to say this particular feed is always this merchant ID in my system. So it's a little bit more confusing just because they don't use standard naming conventions with the Commission Junction feeds. And the fees. LinkShare is the only one that charges affiliates to get access to their merchandiser feed. And if you've had, I think it's 50 sales the previous month, you can request access for that for free. But if you're a new site and your site is based on using feeds, you're not going to have 50 sales the month before. So you're necessarily going to have to pay for that one. The others don't require the affiliates to pay at all, but Share a Sale does require the merchants to pay. So you have to justify a little bit more why you want to use each individual feed on Share a Sale. So if you want the coupon feed for Flirty Aprons, you have to say, this is how I'm going to use it. Some of the merchants will just approve everybody and say, yes, if you want the data feed, we're willing to pay for you to have it. Some of them you have to actually say, I'm putting a product search on my page, or I'm doing a new, data feed driven site on this particular niche. So just be sure when you go into Share a Sale, you do justify. They make you put in so many characters, but do say exactly what you want to use it for, just in case they're one of the ones that is a little bit more picky about approving them. Reporting. So now you've figured out the merchants, you've pulled all these different links, and you want to see if you're actually making any money or not. I don't know about you, but I like seeing now if I made money 5 minutes ago. I don't like seeing 2 days from now whether a link that I put up 2 days ago made money. So you have real-time reporting from some networks, and you have delayed reporting from other networks. And some of them are using kind of a combination of that. Share a Sale, I think, does the best in terms of the real-time reporting. As soon as my member makes a purchase, as soon as I make a purchase, I see that come up when I look for the activity details. So I can see that instantaneously whether something credited or not. So if you're running a PPC campaign and you want to know, is a particular link working or not, you haven't gone too far down the path before you can see if you're actually making any money back off of it. LinkShare is the worst. Sometimes it will take 2 or 3 days for them to batch the sales through, and for some reason they don't always even put the sub-IDs through with them, so I might see that there was a sale, but I don't have the sub-ID tracking for a couple of days. So I've actually gone to a total delay on LinkShare tracking, where I don't even pull numbers for my members until about 3 or 4 days after the sale takes place, because I don't want to have to credit a sale and not have sub-IDs for it. Commission Junction, they do a lot of batching. So some of them you will see come through in real time, basically within an hour, but then they also have a lot of merchants like Disney Store where you don't get anything until 24 hours later. So you know that Disney Store is having a great sale today, and you're pushing and pushing, and you're putting it on your Facebook page, and you're tweeting it out. You have no idea if anyone's making any purchases, whether you should continue to push that. So you're not going to know until the next day whether you've made any money or not. And it's not the network's fault in that case. It's not Commission Junction that I'm slamming, because that comes down to each individual merchant. So just don't expect the real time within Commission Junction, but be pleasantly surprised if you do get it. Transaction disputes. Most of you will not have to deal with transaction disputes unless you have either sub-affiliates or you have some type of membership like a cashback site or something like that. But transaction disputes are if you do not get credit for something and you know that you were supposed to, what can you do? And LinkShare and Commission Junction both have a great mechanism for going in and saying, here's the merchant, here's the date of the purchase, the order number, and the amount of the sale. You click a button, it gets routed to those merchants. The merchant says yes or no, and if they say yes, then you get your credit. If they say no, they're supposed to tell you why. LinkShare takes that one step further, and you can escalate those as well. Share a Sale and Google, to my knowledge, did not have any type of process like that. I know Brian has talked about something within Share a Sale coming. I know Google mentioned at their summit that they have something coming up. Right now you can fill out like a form that gets routed to a Google Doc, and then somebody's supposed to go in and look at that Google Doc, but I don't think that that always happens. Cancellations, kind of similar to the transaction disputes. Cancellations, if you're getting a lot of things canceled, Commission Junction and LinkShare and Share a Sale, you will see when those get canceled, you see it canceled that day. Why is that important? Well, because if you're all of a sudden, if you've been promoting something really hard and you start getting a lot of reversals on it, you don't want to continue to promote that. Google goes back and backdates those cancellations. So when you pull today's report, you're not going to see all those cancellations. You have to go pull past reports to be able to see when you've had reversals and cancellations. So although they're in there, I don't think that they're as easily identifiable, and you might be promoting something that you're having a lot of returns or cancellations and you don't even realize it on Google. And the other thing that I didn't list up here that I also think is important are product level reports. And product level reports just allow you to see which products you're selling. And those can be interesting because you either know if you're promoting a specific product and you're seeing a lot of those products being sold, continue to promote that product. If you're promoting a product, but a different product on that merchant site is what's actually converting, maybe you want to start promoting that other product instead. So Linkshare, Commission Junction, and Google all have that product level reporting. Again, it depends on the merchant, so the possibility is there within each network, but not every merchant categorizes their products properly to be able to see it. You'll just have to go in and take a look. Sometimes it can be hard to find. Linkshare is the easiest to find that information. Google is kind of after that. If you want to find it in Commission Junction, it's going to take you about 4 or 5 steps to get there, but at least you can find that information. So now you have all these great, beautiful reports that show you what you've sold and how much money you're owed. How do you know when you're going to get paid and which networks pay the fastest? Are you getting monthly payments or are you getting weekly payments? Linkshare does pay weekly. So every week I get my Linkshare direct deposit into my account, without fail, and it's nice to see it in there. The others tend to pay monthly. But it really doesn't matter how often you're being paid if there is a huge delay in your payments. So for example, if you sell something on June 15th, are you getting paid July 15th, July 20th, July 30th, or as I mentioned, is it a net infinity? Because honestly, there are a couple of merchants, specifically with Linkshare, that I can't even figure out when I'm getting paid. I pulled a report at the beginning of August, and I had sales from the first week of April in there. So with ShareASale, I don't know if you know how the ShareASale merchant system works, but the merchants actually have to put the money in the account or put a credit card on file. So if you make a sale, that money immediately comes to your account, and it's going to lock for you to be paid the next month. Linkshare, I think, invoices their merchants, so you could actually have a merchant that maybe just doesn't pay their bill for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 months. You could even have a merchant that goes into bankruptcy, and you may never get your commissions on it. So you have a lot of sales, but if you're not actually getting a check, it doesn't do you any good. So it is important, if either cash flow is important to you because you're doing something like cashback or you're doing PPC where you need to have that cash flow coming through, then you want something that's more consistent like ShareASale. Check versus direct deposit. I don't think it matters to most of us anymore because most of them will do either one and they pay in different currencies. But AdSense is really the most important of these because, as I mentioned earlier, Google only pays through your AdSense account. So although they do pay timely and they pay every month, if you don't have an AdSense account, you can't get paid. And everything has to be run through that AdSense account. So it is incredibly different from the other networks. Support and education. In addition to the ethics slide, this is the one that I was kind of most worried about, the support and education that is geared toward affiliates. Some of them have been doing webinars, which is great if you've got some time during the day. ShareASale has, I haven't seen lately, but before the last month or two, they were doing some geared specifically toward affiliates, some toward merchants, just showing you how to use their interface. Anytime they have something new, they tend to have more webinars so that you can see exactly what changes that they've made. So their webinars are good, and Commission Junction has a few on their site that they have archived, and I think Linkshare has been sort of stepping up their game, starting to have a little bit more interaction directly with affiliates and putting on some webinars recently. But the conferences are incredibly different from network to network. How many of you have been to an affiliate network specific conference? So not Affiliate Summit, but like CJU, Linkshare Symposium? Yeah. Not a lot compared to the fact that you've apparently all been to Affiliate Summit at least once. They come to Affiliate Summit, some of them, I think. Sometimes they hide from us. ShareASale, they're having a party tonight. They want everybody to come. They want a disco. You can meet Brian Littleton. You can meet all the ShareASale employees there. They're fairly open. They always have booths. They have meat market tables. They have booths at the exhibit hall. You can meet them very easily at Affiliate Summit. Commission Junction, Google, Linkshare, Pepperjam, the other networks, you can usually meet them at a booth for a limited amount of time. They may have dinners, but it's probably just with their advisory board or it's with a select number of affiliates within the networks. I don't think at Affiliate Summit itself, anyone besides ShareASale really goes above and beyond to try to network with the affiliates. But their own conferences, ShareASale has their think tank, and I think it's the most affiliate friendly because it's either invite only or you can apply to be able to go, or the other one that they have, I think it's just $50 for affiliates to go. So it's a very low price threshold for affiliates to be able to go. Comparing that with the Google Client Summit, which is invite only, and it's a very small number of affiliates that get invited to that. Commission Junction and Linkshare. They have CJU and Linkshare Symposium, respectively. And you can go, anybody can go to those, but it's going to be anywhere, I think, between about $800 and $1,500 just for the admission, and they don't do the free pass giveaways and, you know, different levels like Affiliate Summit. You're having to pay the whole amount of money to go. And they're usually in cities that are very expensive, New York, San Francisco, Santa Barbara, so you're paying hotels plus flights on top of all of that. So those can be very, very pricey to attend their conferences. On the plus side, if you really work with any of those networks closely, if you work with a lot of merchants in those particular networks, it might be worth it for you to go, because they're going to have educational seminars, not only about affiliate marketing in general, but about issues specific to those networks. So maybe new things going on at the network, news at the network, new things within their interfaces, things like that. Then they're also going to have meet and greet times for you to get to know some of the people that work at the network and to meet with merchants and affiliate managers. And then they all tend to have some kind of meet market that's more one-on-one, where you can go and meet with all the different merchants in a very kind of unique small setting. So if you're looking to work specifically with a lot of merchants on one network, that is the place that you want to go, would be to the network-specific conferences. Documentation on the site, you know, they all have their documentation of how to use the different sites, but I think Google actually does it best. And if you look at all of the Google product line and the way that they tend to do their support and their customer service, it's very much in line with that. Whatever page you're on, Google seems to know everything I'm doing before I even try to do it, and their customer service within the Google Affiliate Network is no different. I'm on a page that says reports, and I'm thinking to myself, how do I run this particular report? And at the bottom of the page, it will say, do you want to know how to run this report? Well, yes, thank you very much. You click on it, and I click on it, and it either tells me how or it doesn't tell me how, and it says, oh, if that's not what you wanted, was it one of these things? So they're very good at anticipating what the users want in terms of their help. So within each particular page in the Google network, if you look down at that bottom left side, you're probably going to find what you're looking for if it's related to something on the page. So I think that they do the best job of that. Customer support. Quite honestly, I don't like the customer support at any network. Maybe I'm just picky or a prima donna or needy or something, but I don't find that any of the networks go out of their way for the affiliates. I think they are more merchant driven, and from a business standpoint, you know, there are very good reasons for that. They're the ones that are bringing in the money to begin with. They're the ones paying. If it weren't for the merchants, then there would be no affiliates. I think some of them try in their different ways. You know, they have these webinars, they have some conferences, but the bottom line is there are a lot of affiliates. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands. We're like ants now. There are affiliates everywhere, and there are more and more and more of us each day. So we just can't get the kind of hand-holding that I think we sometimes feel like we need or we deserve. And we have that feeling of, you know, well, if I'm sending traffic, why aren't they paying attention to me? Why aren't they answering my emails right now? Why aren't they getting on the phone and walking me through this? It's just a numbers game. I mean, there are a lot of affiliates, and their affiliates are of such varying degrees of what they know. I mean, I would hope that if I contact Brian Littleton, he knows it's not because I forgot to plug my printer in, but he knows that it's a genuine problem that, you know, I've already gone to my IT person, I've already talked to my friends, I've already posted on Facebook and asked anybody else if they've had the problem, that by the time it gets to the point where I'm contacting him and saying, please help me, I hope he understands, you know, that I've done all that I can. But not all the networks can say that about all the affiliates. So I don't want to say that I think that they're doing it wrong, because I'm not sure that they have another choice. But the bottom line is, if you have problems as an affiliate, it can be difficult to have them taken care of. I've gone so far as to have to go to the network conference to be able to get questions answered, because I couldn't get questions over email. I couldn't get questions through the help tickets. I call an 800 number, and there's somebody in Chicago that says, sorry, we don't answer questions over the phone. We only answer questions by email in San Francisco. And, you know, it's not the time of day where San Francisco's online. So I've gone to the conferences, and I've paid the thousands of dollars just to show up and say, would you please help me with my product feeds, because I just can't seem to get them working. And within 15 minutes of talking to a person there, we get it working. But unless you're willing to make that commitment, either because you've reached the status of being such a big affiliate that you're on their advisory board, or that you have their attention financially to get that kind of attention from them, or whether you're willing to spend the money to go to one of their conferences, or, you know, track them down in the exhibit hall and stand there until they answer your questions, I think it can be hard for affiliates to get answers to all their questions. So that was my biggest complaint about all of the networks. It lies with that. But I do think that of all of them, you know, Google is the best on-site, but ShareASale is the best in terms of actually getting a person to be able to answer questions for you. And then lastly, my little gold stars. And these were just a few things that I couldn't fit in anywhere else, but I thought were significant enough to mention. Share a Sale has what they call license plate links, and I love them. Even though I use my own redirects for a lot of things, the Share a Sale license plate links give you a way to not only deep link to products or to landing pages, but to socially be able to track those links. So when people click on those links, you can say, yes, please put this little bar at the top, and they can share it with other people, and then you can track that data. It also shortens them automatically, so if you're looking to just very quickly pull a link to a product or to a page or to a deal, you can pull that through the license plate links, have a shortened link, and then be able to use that on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, wherever, so that you're not having to put your whole Share a Sale link or pull up your pretty links and enter it all in, or your htaccess redirects, however you all do it. Google affiliate ads. Are any of you on Blogger? Probably not a lot of people at Affiliate Summit, but enough to mention it. The new Google affiliate ads, I think it's significant for merchants to know that this is going on, so that you can decide whether you want to get involved with it or not. In the past, bloggers on Blogger, they were able to monetize through AdSense. Now they can use actual product links as long as they come through this interface that they have. And the great thing for affiliates is they don't have to apply to these different merchants. As long as the merchant is in the program, the affiliates can add the specific products. So say, the Under Armour signs up with this particular Google affiliate ads program, and the blogger is writing something about their workout clothes and how they need to replace their workout clothes because they're running a marathon, and they bought this particular shirt at Under Armour. All they have to do is type in the box Under Armour, and it will pull up all the different products. They click the button, it gets inserted into their post, and then they get paid through their AdSense account. So it is a very simple way for people to sort of get into affiliate marketing that haven't gone over that threshold of moving over to their own hosting, joining networks, applying for programs and things like that. So almost a segue between people that are just using AdSense and people that are doing full-on affiliate marketing directly through the networks. And lastly, I know I haven't given Linkshare much love throughout the presentation or said a lot of good things about them, but they do have a lot of great things. And one of them is the bento box. How many of you have even looked at the bento box? Yeah, it's been out there a long time. The bento box is where they put all of their kind of unique widgets and different applications that you can use. They have a WordPress plugin that's very much like Pop Shops, only it's free. And so if you pull this Linkshare WordPress plugin, you install it, you can go in and in the middle of a blog post, you can just say, I'm looking for these particular products from this merchant. And if you are a member of that merchant's program, then it will bring up, just like Pop Shops does, it will bring up a listing of all of the products, the images, the text links, all with your ID, your affiliate link in it. So then you can just click on it, it gets inserted into the post. So that's just one of the things that they've done with the bento box. They have a lot of things like that, and I think they don't do enough good self-promotion to let all of us as affiliates know what's out there. And I think affiliates are just really busy that people don't take the time to just, click around on networks like I had to do for this presentation and just spend hours checking out what they've got. So if you are a Linkshare affiliate, I would go and check out the bento box and just see if there's anything out there that would apply to you. So now I think you can understand why at the beginning I said, in terms of what is the best network, that it really depends on what you're looking for. It depends on, as an affiliate, the tools you're looking for. It depends on the ethical issues. It depends whether you need real-time reporting. It depends from a cash flow standpoint, how quickly you need the money to come in. There's so many different things that you have to weigh that I don't think it's fair just to say that there is one network that is the best for everyone, because we all have different needs as affiliates, and if we didn't, there wouldn't be so many great networks out there. But does anyone have any gentle questions for me? Yes?
As a merchant, what affiliates do you recommend? I mean, I'm having trouble vetting all the networks that are in the meat market, and do you recommend just doing the majors or doing one major and one non-major, and how do I vet those people in there?
So as a merchant, how do you decide which network you should be signed up with, and should you just use one or multiple networks?
Yeah.
I think first you need to look at which affiliates you're targeting. You know, are you targeting affiliates that are coupon sites and reward sites and those type of affiliates where you want to make sure that you're getting on those kind of big branded sites, or are you looking for the niche affiliates? If you're looking for, you know, the niche bloggers, the kind of small business affiliates, it's going to be a different type of network that you want to sign up with. I wouldn't recommend signing up across the board with like a Linkshare, a Commission Junction, and a Google, because you're probably going to see almost identical affiliates there. Right now, with Google and the Safari tracking issue, until they can guarantee you that that is fixed, I would not look at Google. Just because I'm hearing so many affiliates saying that they're trying not to use Google right now until that gets fixed. Hopefully it's just a short amount of time and it's a dead issue. But I think that's a consideration right now for all merchants who are opening new programs. Looking at something like AvantLink or Share a Sale, depending on what the niche of your merchant site is, those would be places where you would find those niche affiliates. So if you're looking for both, you know, then it might be worthwhile to do like a Share a Sale and a Linkshare. If you want to make sure that you get on those coupon sites, but you also are looking for some very niche affiliates, you can run the programs in two places like that. You're welcome. Other questions? So bright back there. Yes?
You didn't bring up ClickBank. I just kind of wondered about your opinion.
My opinion on ClickBank. It's really just so different from a product standpoint that I didn't include it. I don't tend to work with them just because the products that I promote on all of my sites are ones that I use myself, and I just really don't use ClickBank products. So, you know, I don't have anything against the network as a whole. I think that they have a lot of statistics on there, you know, that can tell you how things are converting, but just because something's converting well doesn't mean from an ethical standpoint that I would promote that product. So, you know, I think they're giving you data, but it depends on, you know, you ethically as an affiliate. If you are okay promoting something just because it converts well, but you don't really care what that product is, then that data is going to be useful to you. If you really care about the products you promote and it's not something you want, you know, your grandma to buy, then you might want to be more careful with those ClickBank statistics. Yes? Do I use any tracking software for my sites? I do not. I have an old-fashioned Excel spreadsheet. I am low graphic and low tech. Yes?
Any thoughts on impact radius?
Thoughts on impact radius? Yes, you know, I really, as a company, I really like impact radius. And the only reason that we haven't moved more of our merchants over there is just because we don't have them integrated into our system. You know, it's going to take integrating all of their APIs and everything. For my content sites, I've already started working with them. They have some really unique features in terms of, you know, you instead of just having the standard agreements between merchants and affiliates, you can propose agreements and then the merchants can propose back to the affiliates and you can kind of have more of a dialogue there. I like the foundation of the company, the people that run the company. So I think that they're trying to do something a little bit different. It remains to be seen how much different, you know, they will be. But I do like what they're doing, and I absolutely wouldn't hesitate to work with them. Yes?
How do you get traffic to your sites?
How do I get traffic to my sites? That would probably be another couple hours of presentation. You know, it really just depends. With my niche sites, they're different than my cashback sites, and different niches within among them are different. So some, you know, are based solely on my cashback site. How do I get traffic? Word of mouth. Because cashback, I think, is one of those things that is a personal thing for a lot of people because it tends to lend itself to fraud. And so I feel for my site, you know, it's word of mouth because people trust us because they heard about us from somebody else. And when you hear about something from somebody else, you're more likely to try something that you think may or not be shady. So I think there are those big brand names, you know, that have so many followers that people automatically trust them, like the Ebates and the Fat Wallets and the MyPoints. People trust them because they have so many members. And then there are the sites like mine that we don't have as many members and as much name recognition, but we have lots of people, you know, posting on Facebook and telling their friends about us. Any? Yes?
Yeah, great presentation. Just had a question from a merchant perspective.
Yes.
If you see a trend or sometimes from a merchant point of view, balancing between choosing a network and going down the network route versus doing an affiliate program, and I guess just from an affiliate perspective, which of those is more attractive? What should I be picking from a merchant?
So So from a merchant perspective, using a network or having an in-house program? Or both. If you're looking to attract new affiliates and you're fairly new, I think joining the network gives you a lot more exposure because affiliates are going to find you faster that way. If you know that there are only a specific subset of affiliates that you want to work with and you can easily identify those affiliates, then the in-house program can be better for those affiliates because you're going to be able to pay them more being outside the network. Some of them, like Wade Tonkin would be a great person to talk to. I know he didn't end up being able to come, but he's at fanatics.com, and they have both, they're on a couple of networks, and they have an in-house program, and he runs them, kind of the same way at the same time. And so it's just a matter of, from a tracking standpoint, how does he keep everything straight, and if he has affiliates in multiple places. But he'd be a great person to talk to about that, just to get his feedback. As an affiliate, I don't like in-house programs for two reasons. One, because the tracking is difficult with my cashback site. I'd have to build individual tracking, things. But secondly, from a payment standpoint, I've just been burned a lot of times by not getting paid. If I had a particular merchant that I was doing a lot of business with and that I trusted them, I wouldn't hesitate to switch to an in-house program that I trusted the tracking software, trusted the platform they were using, once I'd already established that relationship with them. So, you're welcome. Amy? If you want to get customized products put on your site. So you, customizable where the user can customize them, or customizable where you would say, you want all Man Cave Sports t-shirts people can buy? If you are looking at wanting to put Man Cave Sports t-shirts on your site, you can set up a Cafe Press store, and then you can just embed that. The one thing about that is you can't earn money both as an affiliate and as the person that creates those products, so you'd have to decide which way you wanted to go with it. If you wanted to create the store and then just use your affiliate links versus creating the store and then getting paid a commission based on those products that you sell. It depends. If you go the affiliate route, then even if they buy something that's not Man Cave Sports on the site, you're getting a commission. If you're going the vendor route, your commission's higher because you created those products. But if they end up straying off, you're not going to get anything for it. Any other questions? I think we're just about out of time anyway. All right, so I will be up here. I have my business cards. You have my contact information. If you have any questions for me, don't hesitate to reach out. And I think that they put all of the presentations on PowerPoints up online afterward anyway. Thank you.